Hi, everybody. Welcome and thank you for spending time with me. If you are a regular or periodic listener, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. A subscriber told me a while back that if I wanted the channel to grow, I should do more current cases with daily or weekly updates. But although I do current cases and do follow current cases, so many are doing it and doing it very, very well. There's Harsh Reality, Michelle After Dark, JLR, Bullhorn Betty, Crime Talk, Vinnie Politan, and so many others. Yet all over the world are families and friends who are still living the nightmare of losing a loved one, even if it was 5, 10, 20 years ago. For us, it may be old news, but for them, it is still a daily reality. And if we don't talk about it, question authorities about it, bring attention to it, these people do and will likely die without answers or justice. Having said that, I am going to talk about an ongoing investigation today, but I am going to link it to a couple of other cases, older cases eventually, because as far as I am concerned, there is something foul in the water in Tennessee. Yes, I want to talk about Sebastian Rogers today. It has now been more than a month that every morning before I start working, I quickly check whether Sebastian has been found. And every night I hop from one channel to another to see whether there are any new ideas, anything new, just like I did with Summer Wells for a long, long time, months on end. And at this point, like with Summer, I think the police know what happened, but they just do not have enough, or shall we say, they don't have the body to prove it. I know some creators are toying with the idea that Sebastian went out on his own and something happened or Sebastian ran away. Sorry, I think that is ludicrous. Had Sebastian been a normal teenager with a group of friends, maybe a girlfriend, who at 15 already had a beer or two, albeit behind the parents' back, or smoked a cigarette or two with his buddies behind the shed, I would have said yes, maybe he did run away. But from all accounts, Sebastian was not like that. He did not have a group of friends, did not regularly go out on his own or then with friends. In other words, from what we are told, Sebastian was not a streetwise 15-year-old. He may be very intelligent, but from evidence and hearsay, he likely had the emotional intelligence of a 10 to 12-year-old. So the first question in my mind is, how likely is a 10-year-old to walk out and walk away after 10 at night? In my opinion, not very likely. We were also told by Sebastian's biological father that he had a very bad experience with fire ants a couple of years ago, and since then he refused to walk barefoot. Again, although I am not autistic at all, I stopped walking barefoot somewhere during my childhood, and as I got older it got worse to the point where I stepped out of the bath and into my shoes or my slops or my slippers. Even in an emergency, I'll step into the first pair of shoes I can find, but I won't go outside without something on my feet. No rhyme or reason, it just is what it is. So how or why would Sebastian, a 15-year-old with the emotional intelligence of a 10 to 12-year-old with autism, go outside in the dark without shoes and then walk away in the dark without shoes. I sincerely doubt he would have. At his age and intelligence, I do not accept that he left without a backpack and at least one extra set of clothing. We don't know whether he had money of his own, maybe a bank account or maybe cash, pocket money. But if he didn't and he wanted to run away, he would have taken at least a few dollars from his mother's purse. In my opinion, there is absolutely no reason to believe Sebastian left on his own accord. Not a note to his mother, nothing. Was he lured out? We don't know. I guess it is possible. But by whom, if he did not have friends or acquaintances outside of the family? Sebastian's cell phone was also left behind, and as he likely did not expect any trouble, I am sure he would not have deleted whatever message he received, which indeed then lured him out. And if he did, such a recent message is a fairly easy retrieval process, and police would have had it by now, and maybe they do, but I doubt it. If it was something as simple as another one or two teenage boys luring him out, they would have hauled their backsides in for questioning a long time ago. Now, old policing methods worked off the motto, the last person to see the victim or be with the victim is the most likely to have committed the crime, which is more logic than it sounds, because whoever pulled the trigger or used a knife was obviously the last person to be or see the victim. So it is not such an airy-fairy academic statement to make. But in most cases, we or law enforcement do not know who the last person with the victim was. In Sebastian's case, if he did not slip out to meet someone, which I personally doubt, then the last person with him was his mother. In my opinion, Sebastian did not leave the house on his own. I actually do not think he left the house alive, or at least conscious. I know the dog Max tracked him to a construction site and to a pond, etc. But I asked, and a dog can get confused. And here are a couple of scenarios as to how that can happen. Like I said, I do not go outside without shoes, but it has happened that one of the children yelled out to me for whatever reason, and I slipped my feet into the closest pair of shoes or slops or slippers, maybe even that of my grandson or my daughter. I promise you it happened. My grandson grew out of a pair of slippers which he wore only a couple of times during winter, so I bought him a new pair and started wearing his old ones. We also have a basket in our bathroom for all the slops and shoes and things that we wear outside and around the house, and all three of us dump our slops in there when we go and have a bath or a shower. So it is possible that a dog can smell more than one person, even though it is always assumed that a shoe is one of the best things to present to a dog for tracking. Thus, it is indeed possible that when the dog could not track Sebastian's scent, he tracked Katie's, or that of someone else who lived in the house. But then the pond was drained and nothing was found. And later, Seth, Seb's biodad, said the tracking was a false positive, and there was, in fact, no track for Sebastian. Now, what does a false positive mean? Well, exactly what I said above, or maybe Sebastian was at the construction site a day or even 2 days before he disappeared. So my current questions are, has law enforcement searched the house with luminol? Maybe Sebastian was not shot or stabbed. Maybe he was strangled or smothered with a pillow or given an overdose. Did law enforcement send his bedding in for forensic analysis? Has Katie's vehicle been sniffed by cadaver dogs? Was her vehicle sprayed with luminol? I don't think so, because when they left, Katie followed the camper with her own car. Now look, Katie may be innocent, but as she was the last person with Sebastian, I think it is 100% negligent of law enforcement not to have done those things if they hadn't. Although they are not saying so, I don't think law enforcement believes that Sebastian ran away. And I do not think law enforcement thinks he is still alive. I believe yesterday's targeted search by law enforcement is based either on a tip or forensics, which came back with something. Being more than a month into the case, I do not see law enforcement devoting that much manpower and equipment to a search for absolutely no reason. With his last interview 2 or 3 days ago, the police chief said they had nothing new. And then overnight, something changed and the big search was put together very, very quickly. So what changed? I think, just like in the Summerwells case, law enforcement and the TBI know what happened, but they need a body or a body and more evidence for a successful conviction. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, I do not think Sebastian will be found alive. And although I have my suspicions as to how it all went down, that is just what they are, suspicions, until there is some kind of evidence that there was foul play involved. It could very well have been an accident as well. I just hope that this time, unlike with Summerwells, law enforcement and TBI will find the evidence they are looking for so that everyone who cared for Sebastian can get closure. Okay, guys, I'm going to revisit this case in the next few days, regardless of whether Sebastian is found or not. But we shall also continue with the various cold cases, cases of young children who disappeared or came to harm at the hands of a parent or caretaker, and of course, the popular series of crimes linked to the households of the royal family. So, until we meet again on the next one, please take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye.